WAFBA, the parent company, stands for We Are for Better Alternatives. And that doesn't only apply to what we do in business, but what we do in our lives as well. And so when you emanate that type of energy, you tend to draw people in who align with your vision and your mission. And that's really where I really believe that our people come to us based on.
I will do that for you. So I think we are live on the iHemp Hour. Welcome to the iHemp Hour. My name is Dave Craybill with iHemp Michigan. iHemp Michigan's mission is to educate, inform, and promote the research, development, and cultivation of industrial hemp in Michigan. iHemp Michigan advocates for wellness in people and the planet through hemp, and it begins with the farmer. We don't have our farmer. We don't have our cannabis guy with us today. He's on vacation. Our farmer's driving around trying to get phone service right now. So it's just me and our guests, which is just fine. We're going to be okay. So Blaine should be connecting up with us shortly. So he'll have some news, I'm sure, to share. But much of the news that we want to talk about is going to be handled by our guest today, because we're going to talk about some hemp events coming up, which is pretty damn awesome. We have this badass babe, Kayla, from Southern Hemp Expo. And then we also have, we had to go with that, Chris. So we had Chris from West Michigan Cannabis Expo. So Chris, we're going to let the ladies go first. So Kayla Hurd is with Colorado Hemp Company, or WAFBA, or Kayla, you probably have a lot of hats and a lot of titles, don't you?
I do, yeah, and that is just fine with me as well. Like, it keeps things interesting.
Yes, never a dull moment. So, I worked with your crew a little bit at NOCO. I helped set up your booth at WAFBA for a bit. It gave as much energy as I had at that time. But you have some really solid people, some really good people. It's hard to pull those people together. So how do you do it, Kayla?
WAFBA, the parent company, stands for We Are for Better Alternatives. And that doesn't only apply to what we do in business, but what we do in our lives as well. And so when you emanate that type of energy, you tend to draw people in who align with your vision and your mission. And that's really where I really believe that our people come to us based on that vision and that mission of being better for ourselves, being better for the planet, and being better for other people, and just having better alternatives in general. If you are going out to eat and you're going to be having leftovers, taking your own container instead of taking home styrofoam, little better alternative options than what would be the status quo. It is really what WAFBA is all about. And so building that type of team for the NOCO booth and for CoHempCo was really easy. We just pulled from our group of We Are for Better Alternatives family, and they all came together and pulled off a really great event for NOCO. And we're bringing that team back or we've been together this whole time, but in person for the Southern Hemp Expo in Raleigh.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's coming up August, is it 2nd through the 4th?
It's September 2nd through the 4th. It's a little over a month away. We're getting really close. I don't know where July went. I don't know if either of you know either, but July kind of escaped from me really quickly here. So we're moving into August. We're really excited. We do still have some booths left available. We did an expanded floor plan to add in a few extra booths. So we have some options available if people are looking to come in and purchase a booth. They can go to southernhempexpo.com, follow a link there, go directly to purchasing a booth. And we do have, I would be happy as a benefit of being a listener for with iHemp, I would be happy to provide a discount code for those booth purchases and ticket purchases for people coming here that were joining us today.
I'll put that discount code in the chat. What is that?
So the discount code that they can use would be 2021 it's SHE 2021 EK10. So SHE 2021 EK10. EK10, and that'll get them 10% off.
EK10 is a capitalization important?
It is not. It's not case sensitive.
Right. Well, I'll put that in the chat. Oh, and I forgot I'm sharing as I'm navigating around here.
No worries.
So yeah, southernhempexpo.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. So NOCO, is it 7? How many, 6, 7? How many NOCO events have you
So
had?
we're moving into NOCO 8. So in March, we just announced the dates. We're moving into NOCO 8 in March in Denver. So a lot of excitement going on around that. We're going to do some things we've never done before that we've had planned for years, and we're finally able to bring those to fruition. So very, very excited about that. I can just leak out. I can't really tell you what we're doing yet, but it's super exciting. We're bringing in some real experts who've been in the industry for a long time. You know, we tend to, one of our things that we're really take pride on is that we bring in speakers and program people who really focus on sharing education. So if you have a question, chances are by attending a conference with us, no matter what that question is, you're going to be able to get that answered. So we really are excited to see that we have a bang up lineup for Southern Hemp Expo coming up next. Well, in a little over a month, we've got Rachel Rapino coming in. She's going to be speaking with us. We have Dr. Uma, cannabis expert, coming in. She's a medical doctor. She's going to be coming in and describing and sharing some information with us. Yeah, and if you go right there, you can see our whole list of speakers right there on our website that Dave is sharing. You'll see we have people from all across the spectrum of businesses and walks of life. We have one of my personal favorite speakers that you see here is Ben Williams, and that's because I like vodka.
Yeah.
Ben has a hemp seed grain vodka that's going to be at the show. We're working right now to get his vodka in available to serve and drink at the show. But if we're unable to do that, Ben's got shooters. So find Ben at the show. He's got hemp grain vodka shooters, and he'll get you taken care of. And how neat is that with all the innovation that people are coming up with these days with grain and fiber and all of these amazing facets of the plant.
Yeah, we had Ben on the iHemp Hour, and
Awesome.
we can't get highway vodka in Michigan. But when I was at NOCO, I had a case shipped to me, and then I shipped it to Michigan. So I still have a little bit left, but I've been sharing, and it's really smooth. It's good. So we've been talking to them. We want to do a little party one night at the show. We're trying to get a couple cases of vodka to have there, and
Yeah.
so we're working with Ben on that too. So I thought it was available in that state though.
So it is, and he's going to be bringing it to the event as well. So it's just a matter of whether or not we can get it served on site. But he's going to be bringing it. Now we are doing a FAC Friday Afternoon Club networking event on Friday upstairs from the expo. We have a beautiful area right upstairs on the 300 level directly after the show on Friday, right after the expo ends. People can go right upstairs to this networking event, and Ben is going to be donating a little bit of vodka there as well. So he is we'll have that available, and then Dave will definitely, I'll come in and help you plan the most rockin' after party and work with you and Ben and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to have a blast while they're out there in Raleigh.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to it. It's good. Always good to connect with the whole community. It's always so encouraging. And, it's like that, when I was a kid, you played with Hot Wheels and, and you have those little things that make the cars, it goes through and it makes it go again. I feel like that, if that makes any sense at all, but it's that little momentum, that little boost of energy to keep pushing forward. Because things, I promised Jeff I would be positive. I wouldn't say anything negative about my partner, but hemping is hard.
Hemping is hard. Hemping ain't easy.
Hemping ain't easy. So yeah, I see Bo Whitney, we're doing some work with my manufacturing company with Bo. He's an interesting character. He's got that research he did in Hawaii. That's a good place to do some research.
Yep, Bo will be joining us. We're very excited to have Bo. And if you scroll down just a little bit, everybody, you know, at the top here, we have Asa. Asa is great with compliance. He speaks on a slew of things. We've got our usual suspect who always joins us, and we're so grateful to have Mr. Doug Fine. He'll be coming to discuss his most recent book, which is very, very, very exciting. We love Doug, and we're excited to do some work with him there. We've got Franny Tacey, who's out there in North Carolina. She's boots on the ground. She's very excited to be there.
Chad Rosen from Victory Hemp. We're moving a machine into Michigan for some grain processing.
Yeah, Chad's great, and he definitely knows his stuff. And then we've got Hannah, who we're bringing in from across the pond. She's going to be in the States, so she's going to grace us with her presence. And, you know, just a really stacked lineup of speakers. And this is just the release of, we've got about 80 more speakers coming to this page in the next few days. So make sure you check back frequently if you're wondering who's going to be speaking. And then the schedule will be posted of which days, times, a little bit closer to the event.
Yeah, now that's a lot of speakers. So how do you organize the content so people don't get lost and can see everything?
So we're magic, you know, we're wizards. What can I say? It's a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, but we put it together in a way that makes it fluid for people so that the same topic matter isn't being covered in different rooms at the same time or similar topic matter. We have solo and panel opportunities. And this event's going to be really great that we have 3 stages. So we have our ballroom stage, we have a breakout room stage, and then we also have an experience hemp stage out on the floor where we're going to be doing some live demos, have some solo opportunities to speak. We're going to have a lot of amazing content out on the expo floor for people to see throughout the event. So we're very excited about that. But we will have a mobile app that's launching right before the event that people can go in, find the sessions, they can look at all of the agenda schedules and add to their calendar and make a really nice agenda for themselves. So they'll be able to see where they're going, when they're going there with a click of a button and make it very seamless. And if they have something that overlaps, they'll be able to see how and where and when and make those choices if they decide that one should take precedence over the other.
Are you using Wova again?
We're not using Hoover this time. We're using a custom app this time. So it'll be a custom branded Southern Hemp Expo app. You can go to the Apple or Google Play Store and search Southern Hemp Expo. And we should be launching that in about 2 weeks. So we're very, very excited to have it available right before the event for everybody to go in and familiarize themselves with.
It's a little nerve-wracking. I hope it all goes well.
Yeah, oh, we're done with it. It's just the logistics of getting Apple and Google on finishing their part. So we're done. We're good. We're excited. We're ready to go. We just got to let the big wigs finish pushing their buttons.
Yeah, Apple's the harder one. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, this is good. Yeah, Hunter's been doing all that great work on the hemp grain as well. And this is Greg Wilson's hempwood behind me.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that product's amazing. And, definite shout out to Greg. Greg is, he put in some flooring at NOCO, our booth. Did you see that? He had the
and his truck got stolen at the event. Oh my God.
His truck got stolen twice.
Twice?
From, not from the event.
From the hotel,
but from hotel parking, yeah. And,
yeah.
He recovered it both times, which is crazy and good. It's definitely good. I was mind blown. We did speak with the hotel about that. It's just an issue that Denver has, but they're taking precautions to make sure that something like that doesn't happen to their guests again, especially somebody parked out on the street with a truck and trailer. They're making room in the parking garage and then in other areas to ensure that stuff like that doesn't happen again.
I mean, that's life, but he handled it well. He didn't freak out.
Greg was a great sport about it. Kudos to Greg. He had to stay in Colorado, I think, an extra week over what he was planning to. So he was a trooper. And he's working now with doing some collaboration work with Aaron Rydell. They're doing hemp engineered manufactured products. And it's different things, but home items is one of the things. Aaron's been taking this hemp wood from Greg and turning it into beautiful furniture. So we've got like tables and chairs and little nightstands and all kinds. I mean, mirrors,
cutting boards, and
all kinds of stuff. And Aaron's making the coolest stuff. So I think that's probably my favorite collaboration to come out of 2020, going into 2021. I have to say it's the hemp wood and hemp engineering manufactured products is going to be the favorite collaboration that I've heard of. All this stuff is going to be at Southern Hemp Expo, and we're very, very excited about it. We've got Jonathan Miller joining us from the U.S. Hemp Roundtable. Jonathan works, he calls himself a recovering politician.
Yes. He's a good old boy.
Yeah, he'll be joining us. He's going to be speaking during the business conference on Friday. So we have a business conference on Friday. We have on Thursday, we have our business conference on Thursday, our farm symposium on Friday, and then our experience hemp day on Saturday. And you can find all that information. Dave is showing you right where you can go to that. And Chris, I don't know if you were planning on coming, but now that you've heard all this great stuff, you've got to come hang out with us, right?
It sounds crazy. I'm just getting into the hemp world. So you guys are talking about crazy stuff to me, and I'm thinking in my head, like, hemp wood. My wife was just looking at barn wood to do this wall with these planks, and I'm like, maybe hemp would be a way to go. So I'm already starting to tweak things a little bit in my mind, just going through this interview.
Yeah, I mean, look at what Dave's got behind him there. You could fashion something like
two different board styles. I forget what it is, rift cut and saw cut, but two different, and Greg, this is a bourbon stain. It's really not called bourbon, but we call it bourbon. It's and it turned out really cool. I have to put one more coat of stain and do a little. I should have painted the wall first. If I can give you a tip, paint the wall dark first, because some of these edges aren't exactly square. So you're gonna have. I gotta do a little tweaking to it, but for the most part, you cannot see any blemishes on video.
We can't tell from here, Dave. It looks great from our side.
This is the 50-foot rule. So, but yeah, it's amazing. We're, with my iHemp manufacturing, we have backpacks and frisbees and aprons and all kinds of things. We're working with a company to make putters out of the hemp wood.
Oh, how fun.
So
are you bringing all that with you to the Southern Hemp Expo? Are you going to be showcasing that? Awesome.
Yes.
Do you guarantee a stroke off my game if I use one of your putters?
No.
Oh, goodness. Wouldn't that be nice, though?
I would have given you an order today. I'm in the market for a new putter. So,
So Chris, your event is started out as just a cannabis event. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
But then CBD came onto the scene in 2019. How many years have you guys had at the
2019 was our first show, and we put it together thinking, hey, we need to get some education in the marketplace, because at that point there was nothing. We were just at pre-licensing. Everyone was rushing out to get their lottery ticket to be able to get licensed. And we thought we should get something in the market to help answer questions, maybe lead people the right direction. So 2019 was our first year, and we had a really successful show. And at that same point, you had the CBDs start to pop up that you get at gas stations and movie theaters and everywhere. So I learned that that's not all created equal through our show. And we thought, wow, we should add this aspect next year. And then COVID happened, and we didn't add anything the next year. And then a short year to this year, we said, okay, if we're going to add something, we really need to make sure that we're adding the hemp side, because in West Michigan, it's a big draw, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. So we thought if we could team up with someone who could help, answer those questions and be educational for West Michigan, it would be helpful.
That's excellent. So what type you're in, just outside of Grand Rapids? When's your event?
September 10 and 11. We're just 5 minutes north of downtown Grand Rapids. So we're technically Grand Rapids, but we're just outside of downtown.
So the week after Sheep. So, okay. All right. So
great. I might have to fly out of North Carolina and make my way up there.
You absolutely should. It's good in Michigan at that point. Maybe the humidity will be down a little bit. Makes it
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, during that event, we also have a STEAM competition, science, technology, engineering, and math. We're doing disc golf and ultimate frisbee.
Well,
and
now I've got to come. My disc game is sick.
Is it? Yeah. So we got,
The bad strikes again.
Yeah.
these aren't labeled yet. These are being private labeled for clients, but yeah, we have 8 different disc golf discs. And
Where's that even going to be? Is that right across the river?
With hemp fiber.
That's amazing.
Where's that event going to be? Is that right across the river at Riverside?
It is at, I want to say Garfield. I got to look it up. Let me stop sharing here a second.
Garfield Park. That's right around the corner from my house.
Is it Garfield? Does that sound right?
Yeah, Garfield Park. They've got a nice,
Yep. It's great, Garfield Park. So I'll pull it up.
So Chris, you said you were making a partnership, or y'all decided to create a partnership to really focus on the hemp aspect of education. What is that partnership?
We're doing some stuff with iHemp this year. They've got an amazing show in Lansing, and we thought, why not go to someone who already knows what they're doing and can help lead us and shape it? Because we don't want our show to just be kind of hodgepodgey and just a bunch of things thrown together. But we also feel a little responsible for the marketplace because we're the only show, cannabis or hemp necessarily, in the West Michigan market. So there's questions on both sides from, like, we get people at the first year who had no clue what CBDs were. And then you had the commercials and the news were really hyping up that aspect, but they were only saying, oh, look it, because you could get it in weird places. So video store, you can get your video and you can get your hemp. And just going through our show, just talking to vendors, not necessarily hemp related, but we had some CBD vendors that we talked to, and we learned a lot. And I thought, if I can learn a lot just walking through and talking to people, then maybe there is a lot of misconceptions around. And since we're the show, we should give that information out. So, and then talking to these guys, they were talking about building, and now I'm starting to learn all this different stuff. And we're a good farm community just outside of us. So it's crazy. It's a little overwhelming because I'm learning on the fly while we're trying to build a show, but it's cool, the stuff I'm learning along the way.
Yeah, it's a deep dive. Don't worry.
We all were there at one point, right? I mean, I remember just even 5 years ago, I knew what cannabinoids were, and I do dabble in organic chemistry and biochemistry as well. So I was very interested in learning more about all of that, but then to start learning about building materials. And I mean, I just bought my first purse made out of hemp a few years ago. And so it's a crazy, 5 years ago, I had nothing made out of hemp. So it's crazy how quickly that can progress. So definitely be excited about all the learning, and let me welcome you into the belly of the beast here, Chris, because there's a lot to learn.
It is. It's really crazy. I try to think of myself as your normal West Michigan person who doesn't know anything, because leading into this, when people said, oh, we make clothes out of hemp, I'm thinking like hippies, like, oh, you're going to make ropes and you're going to make this. And then you start seeing the products that are out there. You're like, that's not a hippie. That's not hippie. Or just clothes. You're like, oh, so it's going to have a pot leaf on it and it's going to be this. And you look at things and you're like, wait, there's hemp in that? I would have had no clue. I mean, then you get into building things. We have a guy that we're working with right now on a sponsorship, and they are containers. And they're looking at converting their stuff over to hemp, from their pallets to some of their boxing and that kind of stuff. I'm like, you can make that out of hemp? I mean, this is a plant. You can do that stuff. So it's crazy. So I just use it as, what don't I know? And then I say, you know what? I bet my neighbor doesn't know that. And I bet the guy across the street doesn't know that. Or the factory that, our building, we're actually the Deltaplex Arena. We're in an industrial area. So there are factories and there are warehouses all around us that I'm saying, I bet they don't know this either. So it's cool.
Yeah. I'm starting to get those invites to come out and speak too. And it's always fun to go. I've been to Rotary clubs and different places like that. I just got invited to a garden club, and it's like, yeah, I'll come talk to you. No charge. I just love to share and open people's minds, because they think that hemp is dope,
Well, and even here in Colorado, where we have the luxury of people being much more open due to our marijuana laws, there's still a lot of misinformation around hemp. I mean, in end of 2019, beginning of 2020, right before the world shut down, I was speaking at a local town hall meeting here in Loveland, Colorado, to try to get the city to approve for somebody to grow hemp right on the edge of the city limits, because people were afraid their kids were going to go smoke it and get high. And why are they allowed to grow it outdoors? Why don't they have to follow all these laws that these marijuana companies have to follow? And so going in and explaining just to the average person, and explaining to them why this is a beneficial crop. And by the end of that, I think the biggest reward for me, Dave, is to walk away and see people's perspective change, and be not only happy with the plant, but excited about the plant, where before they might have been scared or just uncertain or unsure. And seeing that light bulb moment is really fascinating. I spoke with at the American Dental Hygienist Association conference in Denver in 2020 about hemp seed and hemp seed oil, and CBD and cannabinoids as a whole, and how that affects dental health. And I was in front of 100 dental hygienists and explaining that, and for them to understand and now be able to take that back into their practice for me, and see those light bulb moments go on. It's so important to spread this information outside of just our industry.
So you piqued my interest. I have no idea how it helps with dental health.
So there's some really cool cannabinoid science that goes on there. There's hemp seed oil, which you can use for different applications. There's actually some hemp seed oil toothpaste about to hit the market. But there's actually cannabinoids in the right combination. There's a white paper study that was done on this. And I believe it was CBG, CBN, and another cannabinoid were put into an oral rinse and used, and it was better at killing the bad bacteria in your mouth than Colgate. So
Colgate
it's,
would love to hear that, right?
Yeah, right. So now Colgate's coming out with a hemp seed oil toothpaste, because they're like, wait a minute.
Right.
So it'll only be a matter of time till there's some cannabinoids. But that's what I'm talking about with better alternatives. There's better alternatives in our normal everyday life. And it's been so stigmatized, and it's been so pushed on the back burner in science and research because of big oil, big ag, big pharma. They want to keep that information stifled. They want you to hear CBD and think, oh, another elderberry. They don't, even though elderberry is great and wonderful for your body, it's not going to do all of it. It doesn't follow the pathways in the brain or the pathways through your body or affect your endocannabinoid system. So, when you consume cannabinoids, it's not only your endocannabinoid system that's being affected, it's many receptors in the brain that handle things from depression, anxiety, etc. So if you can find the right regimen for your body, which every human is different, then you can really benefit from the science, cannabinoid science. I mean, really anybody can.
Yeah. No, after surgery, I had some major surgery, and I just used my own little blend of CBD. And I didn't use any opioids at all yet, but I had a pretty heavy dose of cannabinoids.
I hope you had some THC in there to help you.
Yeah, because you need that entourage effect. Yeah, so this actually, I had to have my partner Jeff help me do the math, because I put 10 grams in a 4-ounce container. It's pretty potent. So if we did the math, it's like, oh, I'm going to back off on that a little bit, but,
just a tiny bit. Yeah.
We're pretty good.
That's awesome. So Chris, I think I'm gonna try to come hang out with you guys up there the second weekend.
That'd be great.
In September. That sounds like a lot of fun. You've got a babysitter for me, right? If I bring the kids and
we're in an office. I've got some people in the office. I mean, I get Jeremy to do it for you. He's one.
Okay, good. That's wonderful. So what is the most exciting thing happening at your event, Chris, do you think? What are you most pumped for? Is it just the education in general? Is there something? Yeah.
We've got great vendors and stuff. It'll be nice. The biggest thing is just getting back to work and actually having events for people to come to. I'm excited about that. But for me, it's really the education. Like I find myself sitting in our seminars because we've got a stage area that's right off the show floor. We try to make sure that um, we're not drawing everyone out of the show super all the time, so we still keep a flow in the show, but the education is important. Like people sit all day, like we watch people come in early and they were there the whole day, and I find myself sitting in there like, oh, I'm going to watch for 5 minutes and learn this stuff, and then all of a sudden I get a call on the walkie like, hey kid, where are you? Like,
and you got to pick your jaw up
in.
off the floor because the
Right.
information is so awesome.
It's crazy. I've learned a lot. I'm personally not a CBD guy. Well, yeah, that's a lie. I am now. I wasn't,
But you weren't. Yeah.
and I'm not THC guy, but I've learned so much stuff from all of this that I'm like, that I'm actually rethinking a lot of things. And I see it in practice. You know, my mom had shoulder surgery and she had a knee issue. And I found that CBDs with that little THC really benefited her. And it was from stories that I had heard at our show, using cannabis as medicine and using CBD as medicine, things that I heard people go through, that they were on opioids and it wasn't really doing what it needed to do. And they found themselves kind of overwhelmed with prescriptions, and they went back to the THC side of things and they went to the CBD side of things. And that had a greater effect for them than, big farm. So that for me, I thought, okay, well, I'm having these issues with a shoulder, or I'm having this, so maybe I'll give this a try. And my wife's a nurse, so it's fun to go back and say, hey, you know what I learned today? I learned this and this and this. And she's like, oh, that's really cool. So then she gives me her perspective from an RN side. And then we'll sit there, and talk for an hour about the difference between this and how beneficial it is. And I find that I'm like, this thing that I do part-time, as a show that we do once a year, I'm like, oh, well, look at this. And I find myself talking to my friends who are having knee issues, or I had a friend who had cancer that couldn't find anything to rid the nausea. And this was something that I picked up from my show that I just happened to hear a month before he was going through this. And I'm like, hey, I've got this. Do you want to give this a try and see if it makes a difference for you? And he thought it made a huge difference. And just those kind of experiences from our show and then to real life has made the educational side really important to me, because, I get to learn this stuff. And now I'm like, oh, you should learn this and you should come and check this out. So that's what I'm most excited about. I'm most excited about being able to dispel some of the myth that goes around both. To kind of loosen up West Michigan as much as you can. West Michigan's pretty uptight when it comes to this type of thing, but I think there's room for them. I think it's awesome when you see people who come through the door, because everyone who's part of a show like this, I think you have an idea in your mind when you first do it, who's going to attend your show. And then when you see the door, you're like, wow, this is completely different than I thought it would be.
It's like, hey, that person looks like my grandma. That person, that's.
I'm not the guy you would think would walk through the door and say, oh, look at this guy. And I get in there and I'm really interested and I can't wait to hear the next thing. And then I seek out some of our speakers after for a few more questions that I didn't think I had, or I didn't think I'd have when I saw the topic and I wrote it out and I described what it was going to be. I'm like, oh, okay. And you get into it and you hear some of the natural flow between the presenter and the people who are asking questions. You're like, oh, I'm a dummy. I would have never thought to ask that. What's going on? So that's our biggest thing. I think that's what people will get the biggest bang for your buck, because vendors you can find online. You can find everyone who's at a show online. So if you have the educational background in there, and then you can ask those questions, you can go talk to a professional. I think that's really nice.
Yeah. Well, it's important that you have your event to help illuminate people. So I have our STEAM competition up here. So the ultimate STEAM competition, it's that same weekend as your event. So you can hit both. And so we have the ultimate Frisbee and disc golf events. And we'll be doing a 9/11 commemoration on that morning of the 11th. I had my nephew created this hemp apron for me. It's a little apron with the pocket for barbecuing, and he's going to make a flag. I've been beating on him. Come on, get that flag done. So can have an American flag made out of hemp, for that event is the plan.
That's only 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on traffic from our show. If you're at Garfield
Excellent.
Park, that's nice.
Excellent. Yep. So we'll definitely collaborate on that.
Exciting. How many vendors are you guys planning on having there, Chris?
We'll be about 50 to 60.
Great.
Our numbers are not expanding like we thought they would this year because we decided we weren't going to sell booths until we knew when we'd be able to open.
Right.
So I didn't want to have money and then tell you, oh yeah, you're in our show, but we can only have 25%. So you're getting a 25% show for a full price booth. And we didn't want to be in a position where I would say, oh, guess what? The show's not going to be on the 10th because we're not going to actually open up. So I'm going to take your money till 2002 or 22, and I'll just let you know when the date is, and maybe you can participate then. So we held off until we knew that there was an open date. Once we got the open date, we've been off and running, which has been nice. Booths have been flying out. But we plan to be about 50 to 60 booths. First year we had about 3,700 people through the door.
Beautiful.
So we were really excited about that.
That's
We were
good.
looking forward to the growth in 20. And I think adding the hemp side and being able to really reach out and send something that, I mean, not everyone's fired up about cannabis. Your local farmers are, maybe they're into it. But this gives us an area to hit and say, hey, listen, this is something cool that you're going to be into in a couple of years. Why not get in right now and learn about it? So this is one of the things that I'm also more excited about. The first year, it was really building a market in West Michigan. So it was a lot of, how do I get my license? I want to either grow cannabis or I want to be a dispensary. Now that it's established, there are people who are looking to do other things. So you've got growers who are already growing and they're saying, hey, maybe there's another avenue that I can increase my profits. You had people who couldn't get in to the cannabis side. They couldn't get a dispensary, and they're now looking, saying, well, maybe I want to get into CBDs. And then obviously you've got the manufacturing side of West Michigan that's pretty strong. So it's nice. It's a nice place to sit. I think had we've had last year, we would be looking at a much bigger show. Or if I had a year to really put stuff together, we'd be looking at a bigger show. But we're really happy with the size show, and I think people will be happy with the quality of vendors that we have.
That's wonderful. And so this is a whole cannabis show, right? This isn't just focused on marijuana or just on hemp. This is a whole plant cannabis event.
Yep.
Wonderful. That's
Everything
exciting.
cannabis is our goal because, like I said, there's nothing else in the market. So we feel a little responsible to make sure that you can get whatever side of the cannabis market you're in. You can still come here and get some education. We've got Michigan stock market. They're working on that right now with some of that stuff. It's crazy the different directions you can go with cannabis, and we're just trying to expand that to everyone so they can realize that it's bigger than just, hey, here's a joint. There's a lot of sides of it that I don't think a lot of people understand yet.
I mean, joints are great, but building a house, I mean, come on.
Right.
That's one thing that, I've been, for lack of a better word, preaching for years, is we live in these giant poison boxes that literally the insulation's made of poison. Our paint has volatile chemicals in it. Our wood is treated with these volatile chemicals, and we have, once again, a better alternative. And now it's in front of our face, and it's been an alternative that's been available for years. How it pisses me off, I'll just be frank, that we could import hemp from Canada. Never were able to not to. We've always been able to import hemp from Canada, but we couldn't grow, manufacture, or process it here ourselves. What kind of back-asswards baloney is that?
And we couldn't do the research either.
And we couldn't do the research. So most of the white papers that I read are coming out of either Israel, Germany, or Canada. And those are the three big places where I find white papers that were from 1996 to current. And even before that, I mean, I'll find white papers from the 70s, but then there's usually updated information. Science has come a long way since the 70s. So I think, it's super exciting what you guys are doing, Chris. I'm glad that you're bringing Michigan up to speed. And like I said, a joint's great, but a house or a car. We had a car at NOCO with a hemp body. Did you see that, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce brought that out. Yeah, so it was a hemp bodied car that it was a Mazda, right? That they had taken the body and retrofitted the entire body to be made of hemp panel. So it was super cool. I'll send you some info on it, Chris, because
it's stuff like that really gets me excited. That I'm a geek, so I love to hear like these things that are being done that you're like, wait, what? You made a car out of hemp? Like I've seen hemp fields. I'm like, you took that and you made that. And I just think it's cool. And the more products I hear about and the more products I see, the crazier I think it is. But it's awesome because it's fun to see the inventiveness. It's fun to see people, like you said, find a better way. And it's crazy to me. The whole thing's crazy to me. I'm really overwhelmed by a lot of it. Just because there's so many aspects of each thing. So you try to find something to learn. I'm going to learn this. And then you get into that hole and all of a sudden you're like, I just spent like 40 minutes and all I wanted to know about was this little thing and it branched to this thing, to this thing, to this thing. So it's awesome.
Yes.
I call it the hows and whys. I always want to know the how and the why. So if it's not easily available, I go down that same rabbit hole. Mine, unfortunately, maybe I'm crazy. I'll start at 11 and next thing I know it's 4 a.m. and I've been reading about neural pathways and cannabinoids for 8 hours or so. So I get a little into those rabbit holes, as you said, Chris. And if it's not easily available on YouTube, you got to go deeper, right? You got to go now. You got to go find this information in other places, or you find somebody who's an expert, but there's not a lot of information. So then you got to make that connection because you just need to know more, which is why these events are so important. What we're doing over at Southern Hemp Expo NOCO and what you're doing over there, Chris. I mean, these events are so important, especially bringing the industry back together after having to take 2020 apart. Like Dave said, it's that energy, a lot of us after a year or even after 6 months, hemping ain't easy and you start to get a little discouraged or you start to get a little frustrated. Maybe you're trying to apply for a license and you keep hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. When you bring all these people back together, it gives that revamp and that resurgence in it. And maybe somebody makes a business partnership that allows them to really just launch what they've been working on alone at home in their basement on, and now they're able to take it to the whole next level. Or maybe they've been working in their beautiful multi-million-dollar facility and they're missing this little link. And they go to one of these events and now that, that click happens and they find the right person with the right information and they're able to make those collaborations. So, I think what we're doing here with these events, it's so much more than putting on an event, right? It's bringing together an industry of people and bringing new people into the industry as well that come from other walks of life that can bring their expertise into our industry, into the cannabis industry, and apply that knowledge in a way that we're able to really just come to the next level with this and make this mainstream. Hemp should be mainstream. It really should. It should be something that's available. CBD is available to everybody. But at a price point, maybe hemp insulation isn't quite available to everybody. If you can go, if you're looking at building a house and you have a budget, you might have to go buy that poison insulation from Home Depot because hemp insulation just isn't quite feasible. So the more we expand our market, we bring people together, we do innovative technologies that make these processes cheaper and make it mainstream, more widely available to everybody. We're shifting the paradigm. We're changing the world. I mean, we really are changing the world that we live in. So, Chris, I know this is only your second year of being able to really pull off an event and you didn't even have a whole year to plan and it's hard, but kudos to you, man. Like for keeping it going.
Yeah.
Thank you. You get me fired up, Kayla. I'm ready to get to work here.
So this is that insulation that Kayla was talking about. So hemp insulation. It's the
is it batting? Is that batting?
Yeah, it's the outer part. See this is a hemp stalk. And this is the outer bast fiber, and so that is combed into this. That's also what's used to make fabric. If it's cold.
So what's the pricing difference between that and the whatever, the Pink Panther brand or whatever, you know, what are you looking at? You know, price difference on those.
So it
Rough. I know
depends.
you don't know, like, hey, you buy a
But
roll
I
of
will,
this,
you know,
it's
I'll just say we're looking at we bought a house last year and one of the rooms was an add-on and it was really poorly done. So we were looking at you know, revamping it and doing a remodel in there. And it was going to be about roughly, we were having to order it from Europe because it was the only place that we could find, even though I'm in the industry, the only place I could find that had compliant material that would pass for the building inspection that we were going to have to apply to because our add-on was never approved in the beginning. So even though it's, you know, grandfathered in, we're good. It was about 3 times the cost for us to bring in that in. Granted, you have to account for shipping overseas.
correct.
And so it was about 3.5 times the cost, but you can find hemp insulation. You can buy it by the pallet online coming from overseas. And I think there's some American companies actually getting ready to release that. We have some American companies as well, and some international. We love our international connections, but some people coming in from across the pond that are bringing in their technology. Chris, you've got to come out to Southern Hemp Expo. If you weren't planning on being there, brother, we got to get you out there. We've got people that do spray insulation with hemp. So they've got their spray insulation. And Dave, if you go over to our list on the website of our sponsors and exhibitors, Chris, I'm happy for you to take a look at this. It's just an idea of how different, you know, we have CBD companies, we have building material companies, we have testing and analytical companies, we have everything across the board, equipment companies, paper, Cottrell Paper, who makes hemp paper. I mean, really, the list is beautiful and phenomenal of the types of people that are coming together at this event. You've got Hell of a Container. They're a cool company. They sell, you know, for the farmers and putting things together and many other products. But we've got our nonprofits. We've got our iHemp Michigan there. Whoa, whoa. We've got the Midwest Hemp Council. You know, we've got a lot of these nonprofits. We've got Mechanical Transplanter, who has some really amazing farm equipment. We've got attorneys. We've got Tom's Tumbler. Quick shout out to them. They've got some.
This is another one of your guys' enterprises.
Tree Free Hemp is one of our subsidiaries. So Tree Free Hemp is our hemp paper. And we've got the U.S. Hemp Building Association, great friends and partners of ours, USHBA. They do amazing work over there. And we've got Westtown Bank and Trust. You know, this is something I want to touch on just really quick here is banking. You know, while we have a few minutes to just quickly touch on that and why it's important to have somebody like them at our show. Westtown Bank and Trust is not one of these credit card processors who's going to come in and charge you a 30% processing fee because you're in a high risk industry. They're the type of company that's going to come in and they're an actual bank. So you have all the benefits of banking at the normal bank with people like this. And these are the type of connections that are important because just this week, I've had multiple colleagues reach out to me and ask me, Stripe or Square just shut down my account. What do I do? I've got orders coming in, you know, and I'll send them to like authorize.net or, you know, one of our other cannabis friendly processors as a quick solution. But if you're looking for a full banking service solution, we are starting to have these banks that are coming online and they're like, you know what, we now have the knowledge and we are federally insured on your hemp crop because it's federally legal. We're gonna tape hemp businesses. And so you saw on that Westtown Bank and Trust as hemp banks here. They're not just accepting hemp companies. They are working really hard to say, you know, hey, we accept you. We acknowledge you. We see the value in your business, in your brand, and we want you to bank with us. Yeah. So we're starting to see that shift. You know, it's been very difficult. Even I own another small hemp business that's just hemp seed oil based products. I got a credit union account shut down and a bank account shut down because they found out that hemp was in my product. I didn't even have CBD and they still considered me high risk just from hemp seed oil. And I went to board meetings and argued hemp seed oil has been legal forever. I've been able to import this from Canada or Uruguay or, you know, India forever. I've never not been allowed to have this, but now that I'm using American based products, you're going to shut me down. And so these are important conversations that will be had at events like ours, like Southern Hemp Expo. When you come out there, these conversations are going to be had, and these solutions to these problems are going to be implemented.
Yeah. Word travels fast. Yeah. Westtown Bank is going to have hemp frisbees, I believe.
I saw, you posted
delivering
on
some to them
social
very shortly. And I think if you open an account, you probably get a hemp frisbee.
I was pretty excited when I saw that. Their logo looks really good on one of your frisbees.
Isn't that beautiful? My partner was hanging out with this guy yesterday at Champs, Tommy.
I saw a picture of him at Champs.
Yeah, Tony's a nut. So
well, if you could get Tommy to come out to we'll take care of him.
All right, I'll pass that along.
Yeah,
we're doing some work with him. He's
a
an
fun
icon.
Yeah, he's a very down-to-earth human too. I've had some interaction with him in the past. I mean, this was years ago. And it was when I didn't know him for any of his advocacy work. I only knew him from Cheech and Chong, right? And so I geeked out as a little bit of a THC connoisseur, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was a little nerded out about it. But now that I know so much about his advocacy work and what he's actually done to advance the cannabis industry as a whole, I would love to have an opportunity to sit down and talk with him again. So if you guys get him out to She, I'll take care of him.
I'll talk to Tony. We'll make a connection. Yeah, I was supposed to see him. I was going to speak at the Hash Bash in Ann Arbor in 2020, and then that got shut down, and Tommy was going to be there. It was on my birthday, and I was like, oh man, I want to see Tommy on my birthday. It'd be so cool. But that didn't work out.
Yeah. So in that, I keep saying She, just to be transparent. She is short for Southern Hemp Expo. This is our third year doing She. We moved out of Tennessee into North Carolina. Raleigh has welcomed us with open arms. They are very, very proud to be taking some of their tobacco fields over to hemp out there. That area is what's called Tobacco Row. And the farmers are really excited to be able to take some of their crop out of tobacco and into hemp. And we're very excited. And She 3, we're bringing balance back to Mother Earth, and that's you'll see that tagline. That's not just a tagline. That really is what our main goal is you have that feminine energy that we're bringing the plant. We love the males and the females. We love the whole plant, but that feminine energy that the plant brings is going to be at the show, and we're looking forward to having that represented at She 3 and bringing that balance back to Mother Earth, and really just changing this paradigm and bringing together people like you guys and Ushba and all those amazing other partners. I know there was 100 on there. I couldn't nearly shout them all out, but all of these amazing vendors and partners and sponsors that we have, they really are what make this happen, and in our amazing lineup of speakers as well, of course. So we're very, very excited, very grateful for everybody who participates with the Southern Hemp Expo as an attendee. If you're looking to just attend to the show, if you don't want a booth, you just want to attend, that coupon code that I provided just a minute ago, I'll go set that up so that it works for regular old tickets. And people can go in and just purchase their ticket with 10% off if they want a booth. And if they're wanting that 10% off, we do, like I said, have a few booths left available, and I would be happy to extend that offer to anybody hanging out with us here today.
Excellent. Yeah, what was that date touch again? Every industry.
So it's September 2nd through the 4th.
Okay.
So it's right before your show.
Yes, I'm super busy, but my wife likes to travel. So, and I hear that there's some delicious restaurants in that area.
There is, and our host hotel, the Marriott, is literally connected to the convention center, so you can pop back and forth from the hotel. We do have a group rate available on our website that's about $70 cheaper a night than what their standard rate is. It's a very nice hotel there at the Marriott. So if you do have work that needs to be done while you're at the show, it's very easy to pop over there. We also are going to have private meeting rooms set up on the show floor. We're going to have a few that with self sign-up sheets, people can go sign up for private meeting rooms on the expo hall floor. floor. So if you make a connection and you need somewhere a little more private, you can walk over to that area. And potentially if there's somebody in there, you can sign up for a 30-minute slot a little later, or if it's open, just hop right in there and have a private meeting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Chris, I think it would be wonderful if you get out there, I'll take care of you at the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you both. This has been a little different iHemp hour for me because we don't have Mike Brennan or Blaine on here. But
It's all right. I stood in for both of them.
You did
a great job.
Awesome. I really appreciate you stepping up. But I don't have Blaine's cool hat. He has this Emperor's hat, but this is the time of the show where Blaine shares a recipe. And actually, we have a blueberry hemp smoothie that we're going to talk about today.
Delicious.
See, and this
I
is
drink a smoothie every day. I can't wait.
We do too. Me and my kiddos every morning.
Yep. So this is 1 cup of, I would say this should be
Almond
hemp milk.
Hemp milk. And you can make your own hemp milk. It's very easy to make.
I'm going to try and do that. I've got this big bag of hemp hearts. I haven't
Wait,
experimented.
as a new guy, tell me where I can get some hemp.
Hemp heart. So you're going to want hemp hearts.
Meyer has it. Hemp
Meyer does?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I put it in oatmeal all the time. Yeah. It's mostly out of Canada right now. But otherwise, what I could do for you, Chris, is I have some, I'll send me your address. I'll send you some. I have some Lady Jane hemp. She has hemp hearts. I have a bag I'll send you.
They're very buttery. They're extremely good for you, Chris. So 1 tablespoon of hemp hearts has as much protein as a chicken breast.
Really?
So yeah, the hemp seed is extremely healthy for you. It's also the only nut on the planet. It's the only food that has the perfect ratio of omega-3, 6, and 9 and the exact ratio that the human body needs it, as well as the other 9 amino fatty acids that are required for the human body to function. So superfood.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell my office. I've got guys in here who we talk all the time about this kind of stuff. So as soon as I tell him he's going to want to run out and get some.
Yeah.
You can get some at your usually in the local grocery store. It's kind of expensive at the grocery store. I generally will get mine from either one of my friends, or they sell on Amazon as well. And you can get it a little bit cheaper on Amazon or going direct to their website versus going to the grocery store. But you can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it. We have down here, we have King Supers, which is like the local grocery store, like a Stop and Shop, and you can go in there and find it there. Sprouts carries it. So yeah, lots of places. So
Victory Hemp has a protein too. They sent me a thank you. I helped a little bit, with an
Chad's done some really innovative things over there at Victory Hemp. I mean, he won, and I'm going to butcher what it's called, but he won an award last year. It was the Hemp Innovation Challenge, and we were at the World Ag Expo in Tulare, California. I was a speaker out there, and I went to the Hemp Innovation Challenge finals and saw Chad make his final presentation and actually win that. So that was very, very cool. Chad's doing some really amazing things out there, and he's in Kentucky. The Victory Hemp Foods, I really enjoy theirs. They stick with a couple of very specific varieties of grain so that the taste and texture doesn't change. And they are doing trials with different universities, and they just do amazing things out there. So if you're going to try out some hemp hearts, I would say Victory Hemp, order you some Victory Hemp hearts. There's some other great ones out there, but those are right there in Kentucky, U.S. homegrown, home processed.
It's going to be from Michigan soon too. We have 400 acres of organic hemp being grown to their spec, to be processed here in Michigan.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's happening. So hemp milk,
milk,
some yogurt, almond butter, a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds, 1.5 cups of blueberries, and 1 banana. So now my wife would skip the banana because she's not a fan. 1 cup of ice cubes. Blend that up, and you have a smoothie. How easy is that?
That sounds awesome.
Pretty great. Let's go back up to that ingredient list real quick here, Dave.
Yes, go back.
We're changing that out for hemp milk. We're gonna make some hemp milk.
Yeah.
And then, you can turn that hemp milk into hemp butter. And then
Yeah, and
That's a lot of protein already from that shake.
this is a powerhouse of a shake. You've got the antioxidants from the blueberries.
Mm.
My husband would also leave out the banana. He says anytime you put a banana in a smoothie, none of the other flavors come through, only banana. So
See,
I
don't
love
find that to be. I've had a good like blend of things in there, and I always put a banana in there because I'm like, oh, it's
It's a
easy.
banana.
It's
Bananas are
got a
awesome.
flavor, but mine always tastes like blueberry. And we put a mix frozen fruit in there, so I don't have to put the ice in. And it always tastes like the berry, either the raspberries or blueberries. No matter what else is in there, that always the color comes out and the flavor always comes out.
Now, what I did last spring, the last couple springs, I've been growing some cannabis of the different varieties, and I'll pull fan leaves and throw it in there as well.
Man, so this real quick before we go, my husband is on point cook. Okay. He's a very good cook. And he made homemade corn tortillas. And we had a little grow going, a little just personal grow. And he pulled some sugar leaves off and pressed them into the corn tortilla. And when we ate it, the flavor profile that came through, like I was thinking like, oh, haha, we put a leaf on a tortilla. The flavor was so complimentary to the foods that it was phenomenal. Like I'm going to start pressing leaves into everything that I eat because it tasted so good.
So,
so it's just amazing what the plant could do.
So Kayla, I'm going to have to request that recipe for the tortillas with the hemp leaf for our website.
We'll make it happen. Make it
Yeah.
happen.
And maybe I could do that in a little demo. So that'd be fun.
Maybe we'll do that at She. Maybe I'll bring a little tortilla press and a hot plate.
You know it. That's so much fun.
All right.
I love to eat, but yeah.
I love to eat too. Yeah, I don't miss many meals, and that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate both your time. So we have the Southern Hemp Expo September 2nd through 4th, and then the West Michigan Cannabis Expo September 11th?
10 and 11.
10 and 11. And right along with that, on the 11th and 12th, we have the iHemp Manufacturing Steam Competition. So lots of events coming up.
And is that steam competition, is that all ages? Is that adults only? What's
all ages.
All ages? Great. Mm-hmm. Good. I'm going to do a little more, I'm going to dig into that a little more. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's the intent. And we're going to have a lot of education events because it's all about that, getting the word out, letting people know that, we have these, amazing, like here's some more hemp wood. This is from our hempies. Last year we had these bowls as trophies, so we're going to do something different this year. But always, there's so many cool things happening in the hemp community. We just have to get the word out, let people know what it's capable of.
Most definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on today,
right.
Dave. Great. Chris, it was great to meet you.
Great meeting you.
Look forward to seeing you out in Raleigh, and then meeting you again, hanging out when I come into your stomping ground.
That will be awesome.
Sounds great. All right, keep up.